I have a fundamental right to move from one place of the country to another. So immigration or migration from one place to another is a fundamental right. Can some
within the country, of course.
No, it doesn't matter, Malad.
No, but within the country, this right really doesn't extend to people who are not Indians to enter.
Malad, but they were India. That's the point. They were Indians. On that particular day, they were Indians. Dalit friends have argued on 2-3 counts. Number one, they say that their cultural rights under 21 have been impacted by this demographic change. That's one. Number two, that Article 14 has been violated for the reason that while this protection is given to migrated people in Assam, it's not given to others. And number three, they say that Section 5 and 6 are frozen in time in the Constitution. Article 5 and 6 are frozen in time. And therefore 6A cannot in fact have been enacted. Broadly speaking, these are the three broad submissions. Now, there's a fallacy in each one of them, and I demonstrated right away. Mullad's migration of peoples and populations is embedded in history. It cannot be mapped. No migration can ever be mapped. And if you look at the history of Assam, you'll realize that it's impossible to figure out who came when. Assam originally was a part of Myanmar. And it was way back in 1824, after the British Malads conquered a part of it, that a treaty was entered into by which Assam was handed over to the British. And I'm talking about 1826, 1824, 1826. You can imagine the kind of movements of peoples that must have taken place in the context of the then British Empire. And if you jump to 1905, you will have the partition of Bengal. And in the partition of Bengal, East Bengal and Assam became one. Indeed, at that point in time, Bengali language was forced to be taught in schools. There was a huge opposition to that. So this interaction between the Ahom people, who are the original inhabitants of that part of Assam that was taken away from Myanmar, integrated with non-Ahom people. And therefore, the interaction and the absorption of the Bengali population in Assam has a historical context. In 1911, Malads, it was reversed. The partition of Bengal was reversed. But they belong to the same area. The ethnicity was different. The language was different. And all these problems were created by the British. Because when the independence of India took place, East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, was carved into a separate country. And the exodus happened because of the fact that the ethnic minorities, linguistic minorities, as well as the majority community in East Bengal, in East Pakistan, was not willing to stay there. The problem on the West Coast was entirely different. On the western border was entirely different. Because on the western border, it was the Hindus who were coming into India, not the Muslims. The Muslims were given the choice to go there. That's why the date 19th of July. If you not come on the 16th of August, because we are people who have been displaced from Lahore. My maternal grandparents were killed. So we came here immediately on the 16th of August. But there are many people, Malads, who came here afterwards. And they had to be given refuge. So therefore the 19th of July date, therefore the mechanism. That would never have happened in Assam. From East Pakistan, there was no such Malads. All the minorities wanted to come into India because it was originally a part of India, part of the British Empire. So when this partition took place, naturally, people of Indian ethnicity, Bengali ethnicity, their language would want to come. So, Malaj, to try and argue a constitutional point, which is the point I'm getting at, to say that this has changed the cultural ambiance of Assam is constitutionally invalid. Because you cannot attribute to one event, this to one event. Nor is the court, Malaj, has the wherewithal to do so. You shouldn't even start this exercise. More important, Malaj, I have a fundamental right to move from one place of the country to another. So immigration or migration from one place to another is a fundamental right. Can some
within the country?
It doesn't matter, Malaj.
No, but within the country, this right really doesn't extend to people who are not Indians to enter.
Malaj, but they were Indian. That's the point. They were Indians. On that particular day, they were Indians. When Malaj, please, in 1971, when this happened, the war happened, Malaj, and Bangladesh was created. They were Indians before that.
Who was Indians?
Malaj, please, please.
No, they were. What's the argument?
Malaj, what happened? Pakistan was created.
They were all part of undivided India.
That's right. They were correct. They were correct, but they were
the government of India.
Correct. Malaj, when Pakistan was created naturally, people would like to come. Malaj, in 1951, people would like to come. Malaj, Bengalis would like to come. Hindus would like to come. That's the point I'm making, Malaj. A constitutional argument can't be made because it happened in 1951 that they came here. Therefore, Malaj, it changes the cultural environment of Assam. That's not a good argument constitutionally. For the simple reason, Malaj, the argument has to be applied in the context of demographic change. Demographic change can never be the basis of saying that my culture has been impacted. Can never be, as a matter of constitutional law. Why, Malaj? Because Part 3 of the Constitution in enforcement of rights. Article 21 is the preservation of rights. 29 is the preservation of rights. There's a constitutional distinction between the two. They are people of different cultures, different traditions, maybe different language. They are entitled to preserve it. Nobody has infringed that. Their argument is it has been infringed demographically. An argument that has no basis in the Constitution. They have to show violation.
Mr. Sibal, there may be some problem with this because an argument about demographic change as affecting culture can never be made within the territory of India. For instance, somebody in a particular state, take for instance, there's this huge migration which is now taking place in our IT centers. People can't say our culture is being changed because of this huge migration.
Maharashtra, labor coming from.
For the purpose of citizenship law, as Attorney General has very beautifully put it in his submissions, India is one entity.
Correct.
So no one state or no people in one state can say that, look, by virtue of the fact that we are having an influx from other states, that our culture is being affected. Too bad. That's what the Constitution presupposes by postulating Article 19(1)(d). You rightly said that, there's free movement. But this applies within the nation.
I agree. Let's kindly see 29 now.
Can the people of a state not say, suppose the union were to say that we are going to resettle, say 20,000 refugees or 25,000 refugees in a particular state. there may be substance in the argument, we may not accept it, but they can certainly found a constitutional
Well,
challenge.
I'll answer that.
To say that
C29.
you cannot have a challenge at all.
Well, that's 29. Just look at 29. Just have a look at 29. If I may, let's read it. Any section of the citizens residing in the territory of India, or any part thereof having a distinct language, script, or culture of its own, shall have the right to conserve the same. No problem. Which part of their petition says that their right to language, script, or culture has been impacted? That's not even their case. So how do you bring 29 into it? The submission that I'm making is this demographic change happened because of historic reasons. And these historic reasons don't relate only to 1947, after 1947. These historic reasons are etched in history right from 1824.